Welcome to the Gamecast. I'm your host, Mark from Pix in Motion, joined by Greg from Pixel Play Cafe. Today's podcast is going to be on the iconic Super Mario Bros. 3. So, Greg, what are some major elements that just stick out in front of you when you think about this incredible game?
Oh, it's hard to put your finger on just one. You got
Ain't that true?
the graphics. The graphics are probably among the best on the system.
I think
easily.
I can agree with that for sure.
The music is on par with Nintendo's best. I don't know that it's necessarily better. It's definitely not worse than their best, but it's up there for sure. Then we got it's kind of like they took Mario 1 and just put it into overdrive, because it takes everything that was established there and kicks it into high gear across the board.
Yeah.
You have more power-ups, more variety in the levels. So they don't move just left to right anymore.
That's true.
All kinds of stuff. More enemy types. It's ridiculous when you think that is only one game removed from the very first one, and how kind of different they are while still being very similar.
And actually about the levels, I know that Super Mario Bros. 2 was more up and down or vertical, but there was the left and right, and you could go any which direction you really wanted. So they kind of took that and then made it kind of go up a notch,
Yeah, in ways. I think they implemented more, I guess acrobatics would be the word, with Mario 3's way of using it, because Mario 2, the most acrobatic you got was either using that charge jump carefully or jumping onto a vine.
That's true.
But here you have some levels, especially in World 7, where the level itself kind of loops, which is, I think, a callback to the original Mario Brothers arcade game, where you can run all the way right and then you'll come out the left side of the screen, it wraps around. But that level in particular is a vertical level pretty much the entire way till the very end. And it's interesting because it's full of pipes and you can go in most of them, but depending on which one you choose, you may find yourself going the wrong direction real quick and having
you might be right back at the beginning and not realize it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that kind of maneuverability that's going on. And then you have in the second world, the desert world, where you have the sun chasing you.
Yeah, that's
sun.
When I was younger, that was one of the levels that pissed me off the most.
It's funny, I didn't have the game initially. My cousin did, and he got it right. By the time I saw that level, he knew exactly how to get through it, without a problem at all. So when I started playing, I knew exactly what to do and how to do it to get through there without any issues. But I gotta say, that is one of the best things that they added to the game, even though it's one level.
It's
really cool.
Now, let's compare, because maybe our methods are the same, but we didn't discuss this beforehand, so we don't know. How did you do it, or how did your cousin essentially teach you to do it?
Basically, just run, get that P meter all the way up, and then just before the tornado thing comes on screen, jump into it, and then you leap into the air a good distance, and when you land, just keep on booking it. Don't stop for nothing.
Yep, that would be the same. Same way.
It's awesome because you gotta imagine that led to, in some small way, led to the creation of like the speedrunner community, because of that momentum that you get and that feeling, that adrenaline rush you get from just, hightailing it through the level like that with, you have to know where the enemies are, when to jump, when to not jump, all that stuff. It's really awesome.
Now, in a way, this kind of leads to another quick topic here. At the end of every level, you have those cards, that you get 3 of them in a row. You either get 1 up, was it 3 and then 5?
1, 3, 5. Yeah, I think that's right.
So there's a trick to always getting the star, which will grant you 5. If you get 3 in a row.
Yep.
So
plus you get fancy fireworks.
Yeah. But the way I do it, and maybe there's other ways, but if you get the full P meter and you hit the bottom left corner,
yep,
perfect. It every time you'll get that star.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
And obviously, it's awesome.
And I like how in later levels they throw curveballs at you by putting enemies there.
Yeah.
Right at the end of levels. So it's like, I'm done now. I see the curtain, and you're running, and it's like, oh, crap.
It's like, wait. There's a Hammer Brother there. Damn it.
Yeah. Or even just the block. The block is...
Oh, that's like on World 2. Yep. They do that. And that sometimes can get you. Like, it's like they place it there because they know the perfect moment you're going to jump to get into it. And...
Yep.
Okay. So this game also had I don't know if it was on purpose, but essentially a movie tie-in with The Wizard.
Oh yeah, definitely on purpose.
Which, back in the day when we were kids, seeing a video game in a movie like that was like, oh my god, that's awesome. And then it kind of like, marketing ploys there,
and not even just a video game, but like a game that we had never seen or heard about before, that was from like probably the most popular game franchise ever.
Yeah.
At that point, especially.
Now,
and it's like, wow, here's a sequel, and it's in this movie, and yeah.
Well, it's what made me want it, and I had watched that movie. We rented it from. There was a place called Video Connection where I was growing up as a kid, and similar to Blockbuster. And I think we rented it probably 5 or 6 times in a row, that movie. Mm-hmm. I had to watch it over and over and over again because, essentially the kid that is the wizard, he, gives you these tricks for this game that, at the time we had never seen. And then all of a sudden it's, now you can go buy it. Yeah. And, we learned of the three whistles and various other, hidden treasures, if you will.
Was that in there? I didn't realize that.
The whistles? Yeah, that's how I learned of the whistles, was that.
Oh, really?
So the first whistle, and he shows you, I'm guessing it was done on purpose, but they don't really tell you, hey, we're going to show you this. So, like, the first, what I call mini castle, you don't even have to face the boss because you're going to fly up into the level and then get into the secret door. And right now, I'm showing in the footage how to do it. In fact, I'll show everybody all the whistles because you can get all of them in the first two worlds. It's very, very simple to do.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think how they really bent the rules there, because that first world, it does a lot different, but there's things that are like in plain sight that are still hidden. You know, like you got
Yeah.
that one in the castle that you're talking about,
Mhm.
where you are essentially going somewhere you would have never thought about going in a previous Mario game.
Yeah, and actually, that's actually the second one I do believe, because I think it's level was it
3.
two or three?
It's 3. Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
So level 3 is you hunch down on the white block, and then you go ahead and just go like you normally would, and as soon as you get behind the black curtain, you're in the hut.
Thing with that is that you can't get hit by an enemy though, because if you get hit, and then you are put in front of the scenery again.
Yeah.
You can't get in there. So I guess you could technically go back to that white block, but
yeah, because being able to go back and forth at will is quite nice.
Yeah, it was another instance of them using having like a very hidden thing that you wouldn't think to interact with in that way, just like in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
In the castle, you wouldn't think of flying onto the ceiling, essentially.
Yeah.
But then, in this, you wouldn't think to hold down for a few seconds on this floating block. Like,
yeah,
okay.
No, that I think honestly is more of a secret than the castle one, because the castle one, you could easily find that on accident.
Yeah, if you're just trying to fly.
Who's gonna hunch down on a white block and sit there for like 3 seconds or whatever it is? I just don't. Honestly, I don't think anybody would have, just by mistake.
Yeah. And where was the third one at?
The third one is in World 2.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact level number offhand. However, the footage is playing right now, and you will see that there. I'll put on-screen text just to spark my memory, because right now, for some reason, I'm drawing a blank. But it's also another. It's I believe, like a hidden hammer brother. You have to get the actual hammer and use that to break the rock, because it's a pathway that's like not really a path. And then once you get past that, you defeat the hammer brother that's in there. You'll get the whistle.
Oh, I see.
And then there's another hut. Toad's hut there will give you a frog suit.
Yeah, and that's actually a good segue into all the mini games in this game. Like, none of the previous Mario games really had mini games of any sort. I guess you could say Mario 2 had the coin slot machine thing for free lives.
Yeah, but this takes it to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, while we're on that topic, in World 1, I believe it is level 4. Correct me if I'm wrong here. It is a greenish level that is an auto-scroller. If you get all of the coins, and there's some hidden ones, so you're going to have to find those. But if you get them all, you're going to get a magic hut that appears.
Yeah, it's like a gold one, isn't it?
I guess that.
Or am I thinking of something different?
It's more of a one of those white and pinkish color huts, and they're only there once. As soon as you go to it, it disappears.
Yeah.
And then also, this I think depends. It doesn't matter the level, but depending on how well you do on a certain one, you'll get the magic card mini game that pops up.
Yeah, the end cards.
Yeah, and that depends on like how well you do on a particular stage.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly the criteria there. In the footage that I captured, as I was playing through, I unlocked a vast majority of them. I didn't manage to finish the game this time around, but I played through so many of those end card things. And it's kind of funny because back then, like, you either just took guesses on those cards, or you realized that you could just buy a cheat book from any store, and they had the exact layouts for every single one. And you
could load up your flip card, with your power ups.
Oh,
big time that way.
And then there's the the match 3 game, which is probably the least exciting of all of them, honestly.
Yeah,
Just
it's
blow
there's a
through it.
trick to that too.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I haven't been able to do it in quite a while. When I was younger, I knew the exact timings, and I could actually do it like 1, 2, 3, and I would always get the star. But it hasn't happened in quite a long time, and I don't know if that's because maybe playing it on the Wii is different, or even emulated is different. But on the
Slight
NES,
latency.
yeah, on the NES, I could get it all the time.
Yeah.
But and then let's see, I don't know if there's any other mini games other than those.
Well, there are notable activities outside of the main game.
True.
Like you mentioned the Hammer Brother battles.
Yeah.
Are the Boomerang Brothers in that one? I don't remember.
Yeah. Various stages.
Yep. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was a neat change when I first did it. Because sometimes you would have like the multiple platforms that they would jump between. But then other ones, it was just like flat and it's like you versus them.
Yeah, and like if you had your fireballs, like
it's easy.
You're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that made it super, super easy. But if you were small, well, good luck. It's a lot more challenging. But
yeah. Now, I do want to say also, once you get your whistles, I mean, you can go to a degree, you can go anywhere. If you get the first one and you decide to jump levels, you can only go up to level 3. Simply because they only allow you to go so many at a time. But if you have the first 2, I do believe
World
you
3.
Yeah, World 3. If you get the first 2 whistles, then you could jump to World 3 and then go ahead and jump to, I believe, is it World 6? Up to World 6? Because they have it in stared. Oh, what the heck would it be considered? Like it looks like a platform with the level numbers, and you get to pick which one you want to go to.
Yep.
But I personally, I don't jump until after I'm done with what I call, it's Big Land, essentially, where everything's huge. That's my favorite world. When I first saw that as a kid, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
And to wrap up what you're saying about the whistles, the third one is basically required to reach World 8.
Yeah. Well, at least one of them would be.
Well, yeah, it depends on when you use it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like if you're at the start of the game and you get your third whistle, then you'll be able to get all the way to 8 just using whistles. But you'll need all of them at the start. If you're like in World 6 or 7 or something, you can probably just warp there from there.
Yeah, because it's the tiers. They have it set up in tiers. So if you're already on the second tier, which would be World 4, 5, and 6, you can get to 8.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, talking about the various worlds, so you mentioned how Big World is your favorite, which I believe that's World 4.
It's 4. World 3 is the water world.
Okay, right.
Which has some levels that I used to hate, like the one with the fish that jumps and.
Well, so before I want to talk about my favorite too, but I think it's important to talk about the map structure here.
Oh, definitely.
This was a new thing. This is a very new thing for a Mario game because is almost Zelda-like in a way. Because more Zelda 2, honestly, it's just kind of weird to say, because you had like points on this map that were your objectives, though you couldn't like free roam like on Zelda 2, but
you can to a degree, though. I mean, there are certain levels you can go to before you go to the others, which is pretty awesome.
And you can totally skip some.
You could skip them for sure.
Yeah, right in the first world, actually, if you choose to do.
You don't have to do level 4. You can go straight to the castle and then make it through.
Do you even have to do 3? Don't you only have to do 3 if you want the mushroom house?
Yeah, you're right.
So you could technically skip both of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, you can.
yeah, it's pretty cool that they have that. And then there was different little things too. In World 2, they started introducing the warp tunnels to get to different areas of the map quicker.
Yep.
Which didn't at that point didn't really actually affect anything. Because,
no. Well, there's actually before you because you could go in it, but you wouldn't be able to go anywhere because it had a block from a lock, a padlock of sorts. And then when you would beat the castle, the first mini castle on World 2, that lock will go away. And then you can use it to go anywhere. Because here's the thing. If you're going from, let's say you're just jumping around the map because maybe you wanted to play a level again, because I do believe you can.
I don't
sometimes
think you can
sometimes the Hammer Brothers, they move, and they might get in the way of where you want to go, but you could take those portals to go through and not have to face them, which is nice.
And later they got more nuanced with that too, and made it where you would have to take those to reach certain, whether it's like mushroom houses or the match 3 game. I know in the World 3 there with all the water.
Yeah.
I know they have some things like that. You can actually skip the entire mid castle if you are good. Which is crazy with that world.
Yeah. Now, also, I think I don't have this memorized, but like with the power-ups that you get throughout the game, when you defeat each world, the princess sends you a power-up. So, like the first one is the P meter that's unlimited, which is
P-wing.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I do believe that the second world gives you the cloud, which allows you to skip a level once.
Yep. Before we go too much into those, I want to finish up on the maps because there's some other things that are pretty important and significant. Take World 3. You have that segment where you can get onto that raft.
Oh yeah, the canoe.
And exactly, and you can go off to different like little islands, and some of them have like mushroom houses and stuff. But then if you just want to wander around, you end up seeing where the castle is, and it's way off on its own little island, like the main castle. So it's kind of cool just being able to explore, even though it ultimately doesn't really do much of anything. But then, like you said, with regards to the worlds, let's see. Oh, can't forget this one. Jeez, World 6. That one is really cool to me because you start off, you're on land and it's kind of normal, but it has this really weird looking castle. You get there because it looks like a spiral almost. You get there, you go through it, and all of a sudden, here's a whole bunch more levels, and you're in the clouds. And that's where the main castle is in the clouds.
I remember that.
It's so cool. And it even lets you kind of see the rest of the kingdom down below from up there. It's really cool. Like, they really made that world a world in Mario 3.
And that's the thing, too, is awesome. All of the worlds are completely different. There's nothing the same.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have some shared similarities for obvious reasons, but
of course,
man, like each world feels like its own place for sure. And I think that's about all there is in terms of uniqueness to the world design.
Well,
right? I'm not missing anything.
See, the other part, I guess, technically is the power-ups, because each world, there's certain power-ups that benefit you better in certain
real
worlds.
Quick. Yes, power-ups next thing. Let me get my favorite world out of the way. You got yours? Here's mine. I gotta say, I kind of agree with you that Big World is the coolest just because everything gets huge. But I don't know if it's the best, because if you change it back to normal, those levels are kind of lackluster. They're kind of overly big and empty. But it is cool to see. But I gotta say that I like the whole thing with the rafts on World 3 and being able to explore like that. Though I don't really like the world so much because of all the swimming.
Yeah.
And
But see,
and then
yeah. Huh.
I don't know. World 6 though, I think really sticks with me a lot. It's hard, but the aspect of going into the clouds like that halfway through your adventure through that world, that's just so cool. Even though it's hard as hell world, but it's cool. So
But
I
see,
guess it's between
also
4 and 6 for me.
the like back to World 3 and the power-ups. That's kind of like it sucks because all the swimming.
Yeah,
But if you have the frog suit,
it helps.
breeze. I mean, it really is. It's very actually. You can bust through the levels pretty quick. Well, most of them. If you're doing a lot of running, you don't want the frog suit for those levels.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
That's well. I mean, you could actually jump pretty far with it and high, but you're not very fast.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Ones,
They have a good way of balancing all these power-ups. So, you already mentioned the frog suit, obviously.
Yep.
We mentioned the warp whistles and the P-wing.
and the cloud.
In the cloud. And obviously we have the usual standbys, the star, mushroom, and flower.
Yep.
They all act just the same as they did in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
But then in this game, you get the leaf, which is basically, it's just like the P-wing, but not unlimited. You had to run to build up that meter before you could fly.
Yeah.
And then there was the hammer, which would allow you to break barriers, blocking off those.
Yep, and that's how you get the second whistle.
Yep. And then there's probably my favorite power-up in the game, the Tanuki suit.
Yeah, that one's fantastic.
It's so cool. It's basically a leaf because you can fly with it and everything, but you can also turn it into a statue. And if you turn it into that statue mid-air, you can kill things that were previously unkillable. Like, you know those spinning, like, I don't know, I always thought of them as like disco ball things in the castles.
Oh, yeah.
If you land on one of those as a statue, you kill it. It's like, okay, that's sweet. And if you turn into a statue, enemies can't hurt you. It's cool, but they balance all of these by making it where you can't just power through. You're not overpowered. Like,
which honestly is kind of,
except for the P-wing. P-wing's pretty much overpowered all the way. Except for like swimming levels, obviously it wouldn't be there, but but yeah. For the most part, things are pretty balanced. One thing we can't forget, I forgot to put this on my list, but I don't know if it qualifies as a power-up, so to speak, but it's the dudes that jump around in the boot.
Oh yeah, no, that's that's not a power-up, but the boot is awesome because you can step on stuff that you normally
those little chompy enemy things, you can just walk on them, basically hop across them with the boot.
Yeah, and it also bounces pretty high too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hilarious to watch Mario just like his head just peeking out of this huge boot as he hops along.
I kind of compare it to the frog suit in a way, except you can't die when you're on those characters that you're talking about. It's pretty cool though.
I'll say for those listening, we'll be back to these power-ups when we start discussing this game more in depth in a little bit. We kind of want to cover the features of the game and what it did different than the previous ones before we talk about which is the best, because that's going to be a conversation.
Yeah.
And power-ups will be coming up in that. Next thing I had on my list was actually boss characters.
Oh, and that's it would be Bowser's kids, right? Or his kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever they are, yeah. I mean, they're something of his. They're all kids, but it's really cool because they gave them all personalities, and you got to see those personalities. Some are harder
than others to defeat, unless you're. See, they all take 3 hits. Like if you stomp on them, to kill them, or you can use the fireballs to you just, machine
Yeah,
gun
just
Kelly them as much as you can, and they'll die. But it's there. Some of them jump more than others.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they all have a unique look this time, which was different than the first Mario game for sure. Though Mario 2 definitely had unique bosses, so that's probably more unique, honestly.
Yeah.
But this one, it was cool just seeing those Koopa kids, and they all did have different things. Like I remember the girl, she had like these almost, I don't know what they're supposed to be, but they look like little pink donut things that she would throw at you, and it'd slowly start to fill the screen with a bunch of these things bouncing around the level.
Yeah, and actually that's a good point, because they all have. I mean, the purpose of defeating them is to get the magic wand that is the king of the nation, or the world, and they're all using it, and they each have their own power, I guess you could say. And hers was, I don't know if it's the hardest, but like when you first get to it,
it can be a challenge for sure.
It can be a pain in the butt.
Well, there's another guy too that kind of hops around fast, right?
Yeah.
Whereas all the others kind of just take big leaps.
Yep.
They're a little bit more slow and methodical, and this guy kind of just hops around more rapidly. If I'm remembering right. It's kind of cool. Like they are fairly similar. They all just kind of jump at you and throw stuff at you. Basically, but
there is also something about all of them essentially. It's kind of important. Before you go to the main castle, make sure all of the levels are completed, and Hammer Brothers and Boomerang Brothers and all that stuff. Because if you go to the castle and you die, fight
yes.
it, whether you die during the level or during the boss battle, the ship moves. And if it gets to a point where you forgot to beat a level, well, it might go to a spot where you have to,
Or if you use a cloud to get past a level.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, the airship. All these guys, for those listening and who haven't played Mario 3 somehow, all the bosses in each world reside on an airship that's hovering over the castle. So when you would die, Mark's talking about the airship would fly to some other location on the map, which might be behind a level that you did not beat because you used a cloud or just skipped it otherwise, or maybe Hammer Brothers in the way or something like that.
Now, there is another power-up. I mean, we're going to get to them later, but this kind of ties in. There is the anchor. Now, it's a bit more rare. It's kind of hard to get. You have to... It's one of those magic huts that, if you beat a level a certain way, it just pops up and you can find it.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, you'll get the anchor, and then before you actually go to the castle, you can use it, and it'll anchor the ship so it won't move.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a rare piece.
Yeah, I've totally forgot about it until you just mentioned it.
See, that's like I said in previous talks. This was like my favorite game growing up. So
yeah,
there's other tricks too. I don't want to do a whole lot of spoilers, really, but for the final ship, you can actually, like, it's in the water. It's not flying, and it's like it looks like red lava, but you can swim in it, and you can actually avoid the entire top side of the ship and just swim under it.
Yeah. That's right.
And that's kind of cheating, but I know that speedrunners, that's how they'll do it. So I used to do it when I was younger just to quickly get past that crap.
It goes back, that really goes back to one of the earlier points we were talking about, where these levels have these secrets that you wouldn't think to do.
Yeah.
Like, who would jump into red liquid in a Mario game? obviously gonna kill you, right?
Wrong.
One other thing with the World 8 that I feel we should mention is that weird thing. This might be the debut of the Master Hand that's now more popular in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Where you go to cross those set of levels, and if the hand grabs you, you have to play that level.
Yep. And I tell you what, man, back in the day, I used to get so pissed off. Like, no, I didn't want to play that one. And then here you are. You're like, dang it.
And the real kicker is if you managed to get your timing just right and you got past all of it and didn't have to play a single one of those levels, if you died at the next regular level, it would send you back to before that string of Master Hand levels.
Yeah, because
it's like you had to do it all over.
The way they set it up, and this goes for all worlds, when you complete a level, that's kind of like a save spot for you, where if you die somewhere, you're going to go back to that spot. And in World 8, they really screwed you over because you're able to skip those levels, you know, but if the hand grabs you or whatever, or if you, like you said, if you make it through and then you go to the next level and die, well, you're going back to the last one that you completed. So,
yeah, if you're really skilled and you take the time to learn those levels, you can almost circumvent that by just beating each and every one of them, rather than trying to skip them.
Yeah,
if you're really skilled. But
now I tend to be more of a completionist. When I play this game today, you know, maybe not today exactly, but now, I tend to want to go through everything because everything is awesome. I mean, it really is. And so, yes, I'm going to grab all three whistles and, for the most part, not use them, you know, until required. But I'm going to go through every world, every level, every mini game, every Hammer Brother, you know, whatever's required. I'm going to do it. I'm going to complete everything on there. And then to top it off, something else that we actually didn't even think about mentioning, they have the original Super Mario Brothers game in there. Not, well, it's more, what was that, Mario Brothers is what they originally called it? Yeah. So if you're playing two-player, you can, like, let's say you and I are playing, I'm Mario, you're Luigi. Well, I start out level 1, so I go and I beat that. And then let's say I go to level 2 and die. And then it's your turn. So then you go to level 2 and you beat it. Well, then let's say you want to take my lives or something. You can go to world 1 or level 1 and click on it, and then all of a sudden we're in Mario Brothers playing, you know, with the POW in the middle. And
I thought you could just access that from the main screen.
You might be able to, but this is also done on the world levels.
Oh,
as long as it's two-player.
Okay. I guess I didn't play enough two-player. I don't remember it being in the world. I remember it being in the game. Just
yeah, as long as you're playing two-player, if you like, let's say you defeated a level and I can go to it, you know, where your save is at. I can enter Mario Brothers and we compete. And the funny thing is, like, usually what you compete for is your cards, the star or mushroom or or flower. And so let's say you have 2 stars and you need a third star, and I happen to have one. Well, you can try and steal it from me. And that's another mini game essentially, but you really have to have 2 players to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention for those who might not be familiar with this that you're talking about, it's basically the Mario Brothers Versus that's on the Nintendo Switch eShop right now. So if anybody out there has played that, you know what we're talking about. That's exactly what it is.
Or if you're as old as we are and you played it in the arcade back in the day.
I actually had it on my Atari. That's where I first played it.
Oh, okay.
Blew my mind. Mario Brothers on Atari? What?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean that and Donkey Kong and other games.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
that's pretty cool. That
so
they
before,
included that in there. It's like a bonus.
yeah. So before we move on to some of the cons with the game, because there are definitely some, and before we decide which is the best Mario game between the two, we'll mention that in a minute. Is there anything else we need to mention about this game that's like really noteworthy? Because I feel like we got most of it.
Well, I know it's essentially been remastered a few times,
Oh yes.
and I actually like my NES is packaged up, in storage. I have it on the Wii, which is the footage that I actually recorded from, and I have it on the Game Boy Advance, and I actually play that quite a bit still on the Advance.
Yeah.
It's a perfect port with upgraded visuals. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, the version I played this time around is from among one of the first truly great remaster collections that's ever been made in video games. And that was the Super Mario All Stars,
Yeah,
which your
I
Advanced
back in
Mario
the
3 is derived from.
the back in the day when that came out, I wanted it so bad, but
Hmm.
we didn't have Super Nintendo. We had Sega Genesis, and I was like, dang it.
Yeah, actually didn't own a cart for Mario All Stars until just a couple of years ago, and I saw it in a game store when I was visiting family, and I was like, I have to have it, so I got it. But that version has a lot of good stuff to it, and okay, so to be honest, like they don't add content really, but the graphics and the sound are improved
Yeah,
so
definitely.
much. I don't know if it's quite on the level of Super Mario World, but it's really, really close. And the sound definitely is improved because of the Super Nintendo. They make good use of the reverb that the SNES sound chip is known for. They make
Yep.
really good use of that in the underground levels because it makes it sound kind of echoey.
Yeah, oh yeah, and
So
actually, that's the music and everything uses that chip too to a very high degree.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a very good collection. Obviously, from anybody watching, like it looks fantastic and it's very obvious. They added a whole bunch of background stuff, and of course Mario and all the enemies look a lot better. That's not to say the NES game is slacking or
No,
anything.
yeah, by any
It
means,
looks great.
it's yeah. I mean,
But
even today, really.
I will say though, and this might be my segue into some of the cons here, is that the All Stars version seems a bit floaty at first. Anyway, I did adjust pretty quick, but it seemed like it might control a little bit more floaty than the original. And that could be using LCD screens and stuff too. It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. See now, as like with the Game Boy Advance, I don't have any issues like that. However, and we were kind of talking about this earlier before we started. On the Wii, it's different. I think there's some input lag or something because like with the was that the card game the sliding cards. Well, I don't remember what the
Yeah.
heck they actually call it, but you can't do the trick to get all of the same cards. You're going 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
The timing somehow is off on the Wii. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it's really
Well,
because of the Wii or the Wii controller, or like you said, maybe it's the TV.
I think it's a combination of the TV and emulator. Honestly, I don't think the controller probably plays some minor role, but it's probably more the TV and the emulator
I
used
see.
on them. It has to be.
Yeah, because the
But
footage that I recorded, I used the Wii, and I couldn't get all three, obviously, and
Yeah.
it's as good as it's gonna get, as far as that goes. But it's fine. It's you want to play the game. It's as good as you're gonna get nowadays,
Right.
unless you're playing on the actual hardware. But then you kind of need a CRT to play it to at least look good.
Yeah. Or the HD Retrovision component cables for your Super Nintendo.
Well, I don't have a Super Nintendo yet, so.
Oh, shame on you. Well, anyway, next thing that I wanted to mention is kind of a downside, kind of not, is the fact that the levels are really, really, really short. Like, they have a lot more variety this time around, but man, are they short. They take a minute or two to get through each one if it's not too hard. And that kind of sucks sometimes.
See,
Especially when you compare it to the next game in the series.
I don't necessarily have an issue with that, with it being short, because of the fact that there is so much content.
Well, like I said, it's kind of an issue, kind of not. I mean, on one hand, you want to explore, and there's not as much to explore when there's not much level. But on the other hand, it's a very well made thing. Like, there's not a lot of filler going on.
There is one thing we didn't mention either about the levels, and with the fact that they are as short as they are, some of them it doesn't matter because you still can explore, because you're gonna find some like hidden pipes. You have to have the raccoon suit to fly, but if you go in there, a lot of times you'll have I don't even know what the heck they call it, but the P switch or whatever that enables the blue coins.
Yep.
Some of them, I think, aren't they worth like 10 coins each or something?
I do not know.
They're worth more, I believe. But you got some levels have that. And sometimes that actually the switch will turn bricks into coins and various things. So
yeah, don't mistake me saying that these short levels are sort of a negative as saying that the levels are bad or lack variety, because they definitely do not. They're very well designed. It's just it's obvious that the NES just had memory restrictions that made it so they could not make the levels bigger and longer.
And you know what? That's probably exactly what it was, is the memory. Because the Super Nintendo was a leap ahead. And then you get Super Mario World, which sadly I've played very little of, but it's huge. And like you said, the levels are longer. Obviously, the visuals are better. There's just a lot more to it.
Yeah. Last con I could think of was that the swimming levels still suck, even if the frog suit does help. Like, they are not good. And I like the concept of having the big fish try to gobble you up when you're jumping across platforms on the water.
Oh, that's a good concept, cool. But that's about it, man. I hated it every time. Every time, because usually when I would play back then, I didn't really know speedrunning was a thing, but I would try to beat the damn game as fast as I could. And that fish would always screw me up.
Yeah.
He like, out of nowhere, it's just, there he's going to jump. Because you can see him kind of swimming back and forth, and you don't really know when is he going to jump, because it's random. And it just, like, at the last second, you go to jump to hit the next platform, boom. Like, dang it.
Now, the funny thing is, too, is that those swimming levels, they sucked. And most swimming levels suck. But what's really interesting is that it took a long time before swimming levels in any platforming game, or really any game, started to actually be pretty good. Not awful at all. And that's, to me anyway, that happened with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and then Rayman Origins and Legends. Finally, the swimming levels became not bad.
Yeah.
Like, it took that long for it to happen. So it's not like Mario 3 was like somehow inadequate. It's just like nobody knew exactly what to do to make
Yeah,
them
the
better.
format wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I was way too young yet.
But
But,
I have to say, there are some of the swimming levels that I actually don't mind.
Yeah.
It helps if you have the proper power-ups. Now, obviously, like I said, the frog suit helps.
Mhm.
However, you don't have to have that. If you have the fireball, you're also, quite
Yeah.
honestly, that helps you even better in some cases than the
I
frog suit does.
I was just gonna say I almost prefer to have that because at least I can take out the annoying enemies
Yeah,
as I swim and just take my time. Because not like you're gonna run out of air in Mario 3, so
yeah,
that's
which is well, that's why he's super.
well, that's right. Sonic isn't super. Even Super Sonic drowns, I believe. So how super is he really?
Well, you'll just have to go watch my Mario vs. Sonic in my Rivals videos. Link in the
Yeah,
description.
that's true. I should do that again. It's been a while. Maybe they should just call him Yellow Sonic. It's more accurate, right? I mean, he's not so super, so that's not accurate. But he is yellow.
Yeah, well.
So I guess I don't know if we can really talk about this question now that I know you've not really played Mario World much. I was gonna ask which is the better game because it's obviously one of those.
Well,
But
I'm going to be honest. Even though I've only played Super Mario World a little, it's the better game because it took the foundation that Super Mario 3 built and it built upon it. There's a lot of similarities, but they improve on those. Like the suits
yeah,
are. I mean, I wish that they had carried some of them over, but that's fine. You know, I mean, I liked the super suit. You know, with the cape. That was pretty
yeah,
cool.
was it-
It kind of replaced the raccoon suit for me.
yeah. For me, I actually prefer the raccoon suit because I felt it was easier to use. But
Yeah,
what
but yeah, I could
what
see that.
for a long time, and I'm talking like 20 years or so, I was really adamant about the fact that Mario 3 was the better game.
20
And my
years,
reason,
people. 20
yeah,
years.
yeah, I'm
Jesus, we're
old.
getting old, man.
Yeah, getting is a stretch, but sure.
Soon enough, it will be.
Yeah. So my reasoning was that Mario 3 just had way more power ups, and to me that offered enough gameplay variety to make it a better game. But my opinion kind of changed somewhat recently because I decided to go back and play the best 2D Mario game. And I booted up Mario 3 and I started playing, and that's when it started hitting me like, man, these levels are way shorter than I remember. And then as I got the different suits, it's like, there's a lot of different suits and power ups and stuff, but a lot of them have very limited use or are not useful at all in some situations. And it's like, I don't know. And then like the level variety is definitely there in Mario 3.
Oh
But
yeah.
when Mario World has just as much, um, at least just as much variety, but more like settings and locales to play in, and so many more optional levels that can get you really cool things. It's like, man, there's just no real contest. Like Mario World definitely has Mario 3 beat on most things other than power-ups, I suppose. But even that, it's not kind of negated when a lot of those power-ups aren't really useful in the game. Like, you can't use the hammer or the cloud in a level, for instance.
Yeah, it's used on the map, and even then, it's only used for an
Dude,
instant.
did we totally forget about a Hammer Brothers suit? Can't you get a Hammer Brothers suit in Mario 3?
I think you can. However, I think it's rare.
Because I think I think that's an oversight because that's pretty awesome that you can do it. But it also lends itself to my point that a lot of these suits are kind of pointless.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like,
I've only got it like once in my lifetime. Because I do believe it's a like you have to get it from a Hammer Brother. I do believe, and it might even be one of those like in World 3 that you have to travel to an island to get to. I can't remember exactly because, like I said, I've only done it once.
yeah. Huh. Well, it's definitely.
I'm surprised you brought that up, though.
Yeah, I almost forgot. Man, that would have been a fail. But I think that they're both really good in their own right. Like, seriously, top of the top, best of the best when it comes to 2D platformers.
Yeah, no, it's like as far as the NES or Famicom goes, it might even be. I can't say it's number one because I don't necessarily believe that you have number one. It's more like that's a top, meaning you get to a point where you just can't get any better. Well, like Metroid is kind of like that, or there's a bunch of other games. Like I used to play Blast. Was it called Blaster Master or Master Blaster?
Yeah. Blaster Master. Yep.
That was, for me anyway, back in the day. That game was amazing too. And then, of course, Castlevania is a little different because it's so slow. But that series 1, 2, and 3, they're pretty incredible. So you just get to a level that.
Yeah, I'd even say Ninja Gaiden would be in there too. Like,
oh hell yeah! And
it was very.
I mean, we could. The list goes on and on with the NES actually, which is why I can't say that one is better than the other. However, it's just like Super Mario Brothers 3. Now, if I'm gonna say out of 1, 2, or 3, which is better, well, number 3 is definitely better. But I can't say it's the best platformer game on the system.
And even looking at just the series, the Mario series on the NES itself, it's not like you can look at Mario 3 and say that is so much better that the other ones aren't good. Like it's not like
no, I mean
it's not like the game cancels out the previous ones as you see with some other sequels, because it's like I guess you could kind of say that with Mario 1 because Mario 1's pretty thin. But Mario 2,
Mario 1 set the
sets the bar. And
it's like the granddaddy. I mean, you can't talk about platformers and skip that one. It doesn't work.
But see, like, if somebody were like, well, I only want to play the best one, and they just played Mario 3 and never played at least Mario 2, you'd be missing out because Mario 2 is a wholly different game.
And that actually brings up another point too, is the lost levels. Super Mario 2 in Japan was completely different, extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
Even for me today, it's like, Jesus.
I haven't played much of that, but I do know they added things like deadly mushrooms that will either shrink you down or kill you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They added wind.
Oh yeah.
So like you'd be doing like a real tough platforming level and wind would blow you backwards so you might not make your jump. All kinds of stuff like that. It was a brutal
honestly thing. I mean they claimed they didn't want to bring it to the States because they thought like there was 2 reasons. One, that it looks like the original. There's nothing new about it. Well, there was a hell of a lot new. And then the other one was that it was too hard. And they didn't think that American kids would be able to do it. Now, I don't buy that, especially today. Kids they play video games better than probably any of us, really. It's crazy how much they pick it up. I think we could have done just fine, and it would have been so hard that we probably would have kept going and going and going because we would have got pissed off and wanted to just defeat it.
Yeah. I will say I'm glad, though, that Doki Doki Panic was made into our Mario 2 in the States here, because that game, like, not only was it really different from the first game, but it brought characters into the Mario universe that probably wouldn't have been there, ended up there otherwise, like the Shy Guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have ever been in Mario had that not happened. And it's hard to imagine Mario universe without
mainly
Shy
because
Guys.
since I didn't play Super Mario World a whole lot, are any of those characters used other than in Super Mario 2?
Oof.
I mean, I personally haven't seen them in any other games, but I haven't really played much of the new ones.
I think there are some in Mario World, but Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, there's a whole bunch of them. Shy Guys. And
see, I haven't played that one at all, so
it's really good. You should play it. I played it. I played through it really late in the game.
Is that the one with Baby Mario?
Yep.
Okay, I played a little bit of it, but like at Best Buy or something. Back in the day.
Too.
I have to get that, I guess. I have to get the Super Nintendo in like a bunch of games because I'm missing out.
Yeah, and darn, I guess you're just gonna have to do it then.
Crap.
Better get that checkbook. For kids who don't know, that's what we used to use to pay for things.
Well, I always use cash, but even today,
parents,
most kids, most younger gamers are still using plastic, so it's not. It's like, what the heck is cash?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But anyway, I think that's a wrap, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know much else to talk about. Super Mario 3. Other than, I think it was the first game to have a movie tie-in, and I don't mean like Super Mario Brothers the movie, because no, I just mean like with the Wizard. It tied the game in. I mean, yes, there's a giant advertisement, but it was probably one of the best. And you actually wanted to pay to see the movie. I think I saw it in theaters when I was a kid with some friends, and then rented it, like I said, 5 times in a row just so I could keep watching it, so I knew all the secrets and stuff.
Yeah, it was cool. As what were we? Probably like 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that when it came out. Maybe 8 or 9, I guess. I don't know.
It's like 92, I think.
Okay, so probably about 10 years old.
Yeah.
Either way, I remember seeing like previews and stuff on TV, and it'd be like, "Man, I gotta see that movie because I want to see what Mario 3 is. That looks awesome."
Yep. That's the thing.
I didn't care about any of the events in the movie. I want to see Mario 3.
And you know what? That's the funny thing is, like, after seeing the movie, I don't really remember all of what the movie was about. I just remember the scenes of him playing at the game tournaments.
Yep.
And I remember we were watching it at a friend's house, and I asked his dad, like, do these tournaments really exist?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I want to go to those. Never have, though. But that was what Nintendo did back in the day with those championships and stuff.
And they brought it back a couple years ago when they launched Smash Brothers for Wii U. They had a tournament, the same style tournament at E3.
See that? Well, I'm not
like,
good at Smash Brothers, but
no, neither am I. But it was really cool.
That's so cool. I wish that they'd do that again, but
well, they might.
Like,
they did.
do up another one of the NES remix games or something, and have the tournament on that, because actually, they have a lot of the Super Mario stuff in the remix, which is actually pretty awesome. When I bought that for my Wii U, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing.
That's pretty cool. And Mario Maker, obviously, you can make new Mario 3 levels in it. And we have Mario Maker 2 coming out in June now.
Yeah,
so
I still got to get Mario Maker. I never got it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's really good.
I plan on picking it up.
I was going to say, imagine what would happen, what people would think if, like, instead of Microsoft releasing like a Halo Infinite trailer to reveal the game completely, they had some big movie tie-in in the same style as The Wizard, where like you basically had to see the movie, but you got to see this huge peek into Halo Infinite.
You know
running on new
probably
Xbox hardware.
That would be really big.
It'd be weird, right? It'd be cool, but it'd also be like kind of weird. I don't know.
What if? Now this could be interesting. What if, whether it was Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, it doesn't matter. What if their conference was straight up a movie? They had like The Wizard, it sucks you into the storyline, and the next thing you know, the Switch 2 or the Switch Mini is revealed in the movie, and and then later on you can actually purchase the movie, and they make money off of that too.
Yeah, it'd be weird, but I think a lot of people would be super pissed because there's just no way they could get as many announcements and stuff through a movie.
Yeah.
But
maybe they show a trailer for it and say, "Hey, guess what? It's available on our website or whatever." That could probably do it.
Yeah.
But still, the way the Wizard did that, and they did it in the best of ways, showing the tricks and stuff. And today, at least the gamers that are our age that saw it, we know it well, and still perform those damn tricks because it's part of speed runs, if you're into that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the tricks were there so much, but just seeing my cousin play all the time and then picking up the controller after him, I just assumed, well, this is how you play it, so that's what I started doing. And I mean, I saw the movie, I guess I just didn't really pick up on the fact that those things were there, and I probably saw it after I saw him playing it anyway.
Yeah,
playing the game. So I probably was like, well, obviously that's how you do it. Just didn't think about the fact that maybe all those tricks came from the movie.
Now, I do want to mention, I had talked earlier about swimming underneath the ship.
Yeah.
To get to the end. That level in World 8 actually happens to be one of the best spots for the frog suit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because you can swim on the surface of the water and you can swim fast. So
now, to wrap this up, because I mean, I think we've said it all.
Yeah, definitely.
The end boss fight in Mario 3. Should we spoil how to easily get through that, or just?
Yeah, no, why not? If they haven't played it, that's probably their problem. But
yeah, spoiler warning. If you don't want this spoiled, peace out until next time.
It's pretty simple. I will give you that.
Stupid simple. And you would never try it.
You don't have to fight him at all.
Just like all the other secrets in the game, you would never think to try it because it'd be suicide or stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, all you do is you stand on the bricks that are on the floor and you hold down. Whether you crouch or if you're small Mario, you don't crouch, just hold down. And when he jumps, he'll break the blocks underneath you, but not hurt you. And all you have to do is move to a new spot and do it again. Do it again until he falls all the way through. Just make sure you don't fall through.
Yeah.
And then you win.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
It's might as well just be like in the original Mario where when he jumps, you just run under him and then he falls in the lava.
Honestly, I think that original Mario Bowser fights are harder than Mario 3, the last boss fight in Mario 3. I think a lot harder.
But
honestly.
like we're saying though, a lot of these tricks and secrets and stuff, some of them are in plain sight. You wouldn't even think to do.
Yeah.
It's possible that they didn't intend for that to happen.
Yeah, I think they did, honestly, because they're all things you wouldn't consider.
Well, yeah, I guess.
The white block. The white block you wouldn't think to do.
Yeah.
The white block you wouldn't think to do. With Bowser jumping on you, you wouldn't think to let him jump on you under
No.
any circumstance. And the only way you might figure out that trick, like naturally, would be like, oh crap, he's gonna get me, and hold down like you're gonna duck, and it's gonna somehow save you, and it does. Just happens to work that way. Or I don't know, any of the other things we've mentioned. It's all stuff that you'd be like, no, that wouldn't work. And then it's like, or why would I do that? And it's like, well, that's why.
And then it's just, and then once you finally do win, and then it's like, well, game over. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hell of a game. I guess we can agree on that.
Definitely.
Best
And
Mario, I don't know.
like I would say for sure, try to get through every world, because there's so much variety there.
Yeah, I used to be one of the guys who would get the warp whistles and just warp to the end and beat the game. But
then, are you really beating the game? I mean, think about that.
As I've gotten older, it's like I want to experience all those levels in between that you would miss by using the warp whistles, because there's a lot there, a lot of variety, like we've talked about earlier. It's a lot there to take in, and it's worth it. So
yeah,
excellent game. I think this was an excellent talk.
Yep, definitely. Next week's game, not really sure yet. Follow me on Twitter, link below, and I will announce it before the podcast is released. But it's definitely going to be a classic game.
Yep.
And thanks for checking us out, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like and share button, and as always, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.